Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Five Tool Talk. I'm Dylan. I'm here with Ben and Kyle, and today we're going to be talking about the biggest disappointments and the biggest surprises so far in the season. Let's start off with Ben. What do you got for us?
My biggest, let's see, let's start off with disappointments. The biggest disappointment for me has been the Chicago White Sox. Offense has just been absolutely atrocious. 198 team batting average, 4 and 22 record. In their first 18 games, they were shut out 8 times. I believe I heard someone say Michael Kopech has a 9 ERA. Like, they just have absolutely nothing going for them, and they could like finish as maybe the worst team all time with the A's at the same time, who are trying to be bad or better than the Chicago White Sox. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they have a 4 and 22 record right now. They're just absolutely atrocious. I mean, it's ridiculous. Crochet looked like a somewhat of a bright spot for his first couple starts.
Now he's
Falling off an
terrible.
edge. Gone back to like average White Sox play. Has been absolutely terrible.
I mean, when your highest batting average player is Gavin Sheets, you're in some deep trouble there. What's their team batting average? Like, would you say 196, something like that?
190, 198.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it is not a
Your team
recipe for
average being below
success.
200 is diabolical.
I think Gavin Sheets' batting average is somewhere in like what did I say, 220.
It was
Really?
like 240, I think.
No, I don't think it's that high. But it's not good. They've been
It's not good.
astronomically bad. Like they obviously with only winning 4 games, they're yet to win a series yet, more than 2 games in any series. They somehow managed to beat the Braves in a game, which I don't know how that happened. But as you said earlier, Crochet was looking like he was going to be a possible star for them this season after his first 2 starts, where he had high strikeout numbers, low earned runs, and then the last 2 starts last 3 starts actually, he came back with 5+ earned runs in back-to-back-to-back starts. One of those he had 10 strikeouts in, sure, but the other two he had like not many, which it's it's just what you would expect from a Chicago White Sox team, but I think it's even worse than you would expect them to be. Like obviously we knew they were going to be bad this season, but I don't think they were going to be this bad.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like coming in this year, it's like, oh, they still got Luis Robert. Like, hopefully Eloy can have a, bounce back season. Like, they got rid of Tim Anderson, who was terrible. Like, hopefully, like, they can have somebody be good. Like, hopefully somebody would step up. But nobody has done anything. And
I mean,
Luis
yeah. I
Robert,
mean, they have.
he's
I mean, they have
out.
some injuries too, which is not helping. Moncada's injured. One of their better players.
Robert's hurt too.
Robert.
Yeah.
Like, they're two of their best players are injured. I think. Well, even with them, I don't think it helped much because they're just astronomically terrible.
Yeah. And
Like,
like
they might win a few more games, but like, they'd probably still be the worst team in baseball.
you
But
you
it's not
you look
helping.
at their team moving forward, and it's not like I see things getting any better the
Mm,
way it's going. Like there's nobody that I can see being like, oh, this guy's gonna break out. Oh, this guy's been bad, but he's gonna be good. It's like everybody has just been terrible, and they're gonna probably continue to be terrible. Now, 4 and 22, like it might be a little extreme for that to be like a typical record. Like I don't know if they're gonna be 4 and 22 like the rest of the season, but I don't see it getting any better in
it's
any way.
I think like at this rate, what I want to say we predicted them winning less than 60 games. I don't remember exactly what we said, but it wasn't that high, and they might not reach the 50 mark at this rate.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if it
bad.
stays this bad between like if Robert stays on like he was on the 15-day IL, so he's probably gonna come back sooner than later. But if he comes back and especially slow start coming off the injured list, I think it it's not gonna be a good recipe for success. Which and like I don't even know who's even starting pitching for them outside of Crochet. Like
They
they traded
have
Cease.
they have their starting pitchers are Crochet, Soraka, Fetty, Jonathan Cannon, and I guess their fifth guy is just like it's just spot starts at this point. Like they don't really have a true fifth guy.
Yeah,
Maybe Kopech
jeez.
or
I mean,
something. Like
I think Kopech got moved to the bullpen because he was so bad last season, and he's still terrible this year.
Fucking,
Where
it's
Bro is supposed to be
actually
so good.
crazy.
Like he started off so hot last season, and then he just fell off a cliff and has been
I mean,
god awful
it's
ever since.
crazy. It's like for like when all their process was trying to come up, they were like a couple years ago. Like they were like a team that we thought would be good in the future. But all these prospects
Yeah.
either just didn't do as much as they thought, or they just like they had a decent season, they like just fall off. It was just crazy how much they've fallen. Like it's ridiculous. Like
Because even
Yerman
Luis,
Mercedes was going crazy for like half a season there.
yeah, because even like Luis Robert, like he's been really good in a couple years past, but even he's not like reached the like level that we've like wanted from him. I mean,
Yeah,
You see it in spurts, but you can never see it for a full season length.
yeah, he strikes out a lot,
yeah.
The fall off of Tim Anderson will need to be studied, but he's no
literally.
longer there anymore.
I mean, it's just crazy. Like right now, their best prospect is Colson Montgomery, the shortstop.
I mean,
He's all right.
raw, but I mean, he's good. He's
Yeah,
top 100 pipeline. Like he's one of the better prospects in the league, but he's not gonna be
yeah. He's nothing.
like team changing.
Noah
He needs
Schultz,
something else
who's
aside
only
of it.
in high A. And it's like going forward, it's like, what do they even have? It's like they have a couple decent guys, but it's no one I think it's gonna be like a game changer for them.
It's
Maybe like a guy,
rough.
maybe these guys like win like, and maybe make an All Star or two at most. I don't think they're gonna be like these like good players. Like they're gonna be alright.
Chicago White Sox fans are in for a rough ride for years to come. It's unless they get some nice draft steals, which I mean, at the rate they're going, they'll get the number 1 pick probably this year. Which I should.
We'll pick that this year.
Season. I don't remember because I know
Okay.
Guardians have. Don't think Guardians have the first this year. Which
It's the Guardians, yeah.
Travis
A's are
Bassano,
third,
future
right?
Guardian. I don't know what they have. It can't. It's probably like in the high single digits, low tens. Because they weren't god awful last year. I think they won like 70 games.
Guardians have the first, A's have the fourth, White Sox have the fifth. So they have a pretty good pick.
Alright. Alright.
Well, okay, especially in this draft
But
class.
in baseball, like it's like first round picks. You're not gonna see the guy for 3 years probably.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean,
But especially in this draft class, all of the top 5 picks like are
They're
dudes.
good.
They're all
They're
good.
insane.
I mean,
You
yeah.
got Travis Bassano.
like
you got the
people don't even
kid
know who the
from
first pick is. Like
Georgia.
there's no clear cut number one yet.
Yeah.
Tomlin's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But Chase
I think
Burns.
I think it's between him and Bassano right now because Bassano's been
Mhm.
absolutely ridiculous too this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the kid from Georgia the one that had the
I think Ben's got a chance. I think Ben's going first round.
Nah.
Give
I think
him
you got
a couple
that, bro.
years. You got to get to this. Go after JUCO. Speaking of number 1 picks, we'll continue on the disappointment train. Jackson Holiday was pulled up as we all wanted to see happen. We
Yeah.
thought he should have been on the opening day roster, and to say the least, he was god awful. He had 2 hits in 10 games he played. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, it was bad. 2 for 34. He had a 0.59 average. He got sent out after 10 games. It just wasn't a good run, which is surprising because in spring training he batted 311 and it looked good. And then when he in AAA he batted 333, but he just got up and couldn't handle the pitching. It's just who knows? Maybe he just wasn't ready. Maybe just too much pressure on him. It's just odd. He didn't look comfortable at the plate. Also, just surprising to see.
Yeah,
I mean-
his defense also was rough too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's 20 years old. He
I mean, yeah.
flew up the ranks. Like, he's gonna be fine. Like, this stuff happens. Now, 2 for 34. That's atrocious.
diabolical.
That's terrible.
That's
That's
diabolical.
really bad. That cannot happen. But he hit 321 over the 3 levels of the minor leagues last season. Like, he's shown that he can do it. Like, it's not like AAA is like a completely different universe than the MLB. But it is different. Big league pitchers, they always carve everybody else up differently.
Yeah.
He's got to
I
find a
think
way
it's
to
fair to
make
look
an
at
adjustment.
his spring training stats where he hit 311, which is really good.
Yeah.
But so it's like odd that the jump from spring training back to the actual pro or spring training to MLB, it's crazy the fall off, because he was facing these MLB players.
spring training's like it's got the mix of MLB pitchers, but they're not going to go super
Yeah,
deep into games. So it's a lot of prospects see if they're going to make the opening day roster.
I mean, yeah,
And again, I think the thing that could have hindered him when he did get pulled up was going back down to AAA from spring training, because then he saw different pitching, like slower, not as like
yeah,
much movement on the pitches, and then gets pulled up into the MLB and facing top pitchers in the world. It's completely different. So he got used to AAA for what was it, 2-3 weeks that he was down there. Then he gets pulled up, and it's much harder pitching as compared to what he
yeah,
had gotten used to facing for those couple weeks.
definitely.
Do I think this is going to change the outcome of Jackson Holiday's career? No. I think he's going to be the same player at the end of it that he would be if this didn't happen. He's 20 years old. It's that time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's not like
the
the
big
Royals
thing
are
right now
anything
is
now.
hopefully this confidence isn't like I think like hopefully when he goes back down, his confidence isn't like shattered. He doesn't like that isn't he doesn't carry that baggage with him. Because like even if he's like was dominating his AAA pitchers, you go up, you hit 2 for 34, and you have to go back down. Like your confidence is like you're just not confident in your swing as much, and that's where that's where you could find issues in the future with him. I think like
I mean,
to hopefully he can just get right back on track in AAA and just start raking again. But we'll see.
he'll have plenty of time. The Orioles, like Jordan Westbrook's
Yeah,
been really
he's
good for
20.
them this season. Obviously, they still have Gunnar Henderson, so he's got plenty of time to. No need to rush him, especially right now after what we saw. So it's if they give him he'll probably get pulled up later in the season, especially if he heats up in AAA. So if he can get pulled up and start playing well again, I can see him. I wouldn't say he's going to be the everyday second baseman for him right now, just because unless Jordan Westbrook slows down, but it'll be
Well,
interesting
Westbrook can
to see
play
what they
third
do.
too.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean for now we'll see what happens. We're gonna play it by ear.
Yeah. Another thing, rookies making their debuts. Jack Leiter. He like Jack Leiter got lit
Absolutely
up.
terrible.
Absolutely lit up. I mean, part of it wasn't absolutely his fault. There was a costly error that kept him in an inning that probably I think gave him another earned run or two. But I mean, still giving up the 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings is not not a good start by any means at all. So like I don't know really why they pulled him up, because he wasn't even that good. Like coming into this season, like he was good in AAA this year, but last year in AA he was not good. He had a 5
Yeah,
ERA
last year in
AA
AA, I have
last
the
year.
stats. He had a 5.07 ERA, and like the strikeouts are there though. He had 110 strikeouts in 81 innings, but he was getting up a lot of runs. He had a 5 ERA in AA. In AAA is good. Actually, in his first outing back in AAA, he threw my God, 6 scoreless with 8 strikeouts and only gave up 1 hit right after being sent back down. So that's interesting. It's just kind of that just shows the difference between AAA ball and big league ball.
There's always that middle ground between the two.
Yeah.
There's people can we've seen it through every year. Someone will absolutely dominate in AAA and then get sent up into the majors, whether they're pitching or hitting, and just not look good at all, but then go straight back down to AAA and rake. For example, in the Giants organization, you've got Heliot Ramos, who's like a high 290, 300 batting average guy in AAA, and he gets pulled up to the majors and he can't get a hit to save his life.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the term for that is called a quadruple A player. Like they're too good for AAA, not good enough for the majors. And I think Jack Leiter fits that category a lot more than Jackson Holiday because like Jack Leiter just hasn't looked great, but then he came out this year in AAA and did good, like found his stuff, like was throwing his fastball, which by the way, his arsenal is dynamic and has like the makings to be a big league arsenal. But
Yeah.
he's had command issues. He walks a lot. Like, I mean, if we just throw it way back to his college stats, he had in 2 years in Vanderbilt, he had a 14.45 K per nine. So he struck everybody out, running up to near
Yeah. The
100
strikeouts
miles an
are.
hour, like had a
Yeah.
2 ERA, like dominated, then has struggled in the pros, while Holiday has just killed it every step of the way and has just now faltered in the MLB.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
and Leiter's
Leiter's strikeouts
Leiter's
are.
super young. either, is he? He's
He's
obviously older than Holiday.
20-ish,
He's
22
not
maybe,
super old, but he's
24
not.
maybe,
I mean, Holiday's got a couple
24.
years on him. Yeah, so he's got plenty of time still. So I mean, give him like
Eh.
a year or two, and we could see him be.
I mean, we could maybe see if he
serviceable
comes
MLB
back
pitcher.
up eventually this year.
I don't see it
I mean,
happening.
they
I see
have
it
the
happening,
Rangers just have like no pitchers right now. They have so many injuries,
but they'll get
and
healthy this
so
season.
it's just they're really thin at it. So it makes sense that they might call him back up if he continues to do well. It's just I think he needs to
Is DeGrom gonna come back
get
this
past
season?
these big league hitters.
Yes,
You
near
know,
the end.
And like Rangers right now don't have the deepest of rotations just with a lot of injuries, but Eovaldi's been weird this season. I don't want to get into that right now, but I mean DeGrom will come back at the end of the season, so he's like not for a while. Scherzer should be coming back in a couple months, I think. Not too soon, but not too far away to where it's going to hinder them. So there'll be an interesting spot to see what happens. Like I don't know what's happening with the AL West right now. That's a weird division.
it's a weird division.
Speaking of fuck the Astros, good God, terrible.
Ass.
The
The
third
ass
worst record in
Astros.
MLB right now. I think right now, like
For Astros, you could say.
it's not, they do not look good by any means. Like everyone was
They're bad.
thinking, like they have a chance to win the AL West. I mean, realistically, it's still possible. It's so
Early
on
in the season.
they've got plenty of time, but it's just like it's not anything that anyone would expect to see coming out of a team that was in the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thing I would like to say though is the Astros recently have seemed inevitable. They seem like they always can like be that team to just overcome whatever's thrown their way. And Jordan's looked like Jordan. Altuve, he struggled a little bit, but he's still been Altuve. So like Ronel Blanco, he's been good. Might be a fluke, but like they have bright spots and they have guys. They have the talent to do it. They just need to put it together.
Yeah.
And if any team's going to overcome this start, it's the Astros.
It's the Astros. I mean, they're still a good roster. They're a great roster still. You know, I think it's had a bad start, and I think like in a month or so they'll probably start picking it back up.
Yeah, I think they're in a similar spot as the Rangers, where their starting rotation is hurt because Valdez, I think, is out right now.
Yeah.
Is Javier healthy? I think Javier's
Oh,
healthy.
he's
I
hurt.
think Javier's won the 15-day.
Verlander's making his way
Yeah,
back.
so they don't have their top guys. Like they're missing their top three starters right now. So when you're missing the top three starters, you're not going to be the same baseball team that you were. So
I mean, I think the AL West is a winnable division still, even though I mean, they could come back. And the Mariners are good though, and the Rangers are
they're off to
obviously.
this really slow start too.
I think the AL West as a whole is kind of off to a slow start. So they pick it up soon. They can win that division still, but I hope they don't. Fuck the Astros.
I still find it insane that they're behind.
I got the A's win it.
Angels
I got the
and
A's win the division.
It's A's.
I think Brent Rooker MVP season is incoming.
What has been up with Josh Hader? You guys seen him?
He's been so.
He's been
He's
so.
been
He's got like
absolutely
8 ERA.
yeah.
He gave up more earned runs in the first 2 weeks than he did all of last year.
Yeah. He's been absolutely atrocious. And like he's supposed to be like the dominating closer that just comes in
The
and
closer
shuts
of
everybody
baseball.
out.
I mean, yeah, they signed him to do that. You know, he was supposed to be like that, the nail in the bullpen for him. You know, they want to try to get back in the World Series. You want a dominant closer, obviously, when you're trying to compete. And he just hasn't been that. He's been ass.
He's
Well,
opening up.
go Kyle.
I don't even know, because he was so good last season. Obviously had some flukes here and
How
there.
old is Hayden now? He's in his early 30s, I think.
He's 30.
29. He's not.
Is he still only
No,
29?
he's 30.
He's only 30.
So I mean, he's not. He's in his prime. So
He's been pitching for so long, throwing cheddar.
I don't know.
Only
He'll probably
2017. Oh
figure
my
it out at
god.
some
I
point.
thought he
That's
came out
kind of
way
that's the
earlier.
whole Astros team right now. They just haven't figured out and put everything together because Yainier Diaz started off really hot and he just fell off a cliff, and then they just have injuries. But Kyle, and you said Jordan Alvarez has been the guy that everyone knows Jordan to be. So give them time. I'm assuming they'll pick it back up and probably come right back in the fight for
Yeah.
the AL West and at least a wild card spot.
Speaking of struggling pitchers in the West, the NL West, Blake Snell. How are you feeling about him, Kyle?
I don't like. I like the signing a lot. Obviously, won the Cy Young last year. I think it correlates to not having a spring training. So this is what's considered his spring training. So like it's not helpful.
I was washed.
He has an
Giants got scammed.
11.5 ERA in 3 games, which is not good, with only 12 strikeouts, which for him is ridiculous to see. But the main thing for me is, like, obviously we all know pitchers have catcher preferences and they like to pitch to certain guys. But when you're pitching to a guy like Tom Murphy instead of Patrick Bailey, who right now is the statistical best defensive catcher in baseball when it comes to framing and defensive runs saved, like, especially with Blake Snell being a guy that throws a lot of pitches outside the zone, whether they're far outside the zone or just off the zone, Bailey could get him some strikes and lower the walk numbers. But instead he's throwing to Tom Murphy, who is not that good of a defensive catcher. So I don't, like, obviously he's on the IL now for probably 2-3 weeks, if not more. So we'll see what happens when he comes back from that. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, this year
Despite his struggles, he's only given up 5 walks.
is interesting. But this year, Tom Murphy is in the 12th percentile for blocks above average, the 30th percentile of spot stealing above average, that's just runners thrown out, and 36th percentile in framing. So basically, he's well below average in almost every defensive catcher stat, which like is weird because why would Blake Snell prefer to throw to him over Patrick Bailey? But Blake Snell has done this in the past because he liked throwing to Gary Sanchez last year, I think it was. Like Gary Sanchez was a lot better defensively than Tom Murphy. He's still Gary Sanchez, so he's still not like elite defensively.
It's not great.
But it's weird, and I think it's negatively impacting
It is
him.
weird.
And the other thing is Patrick Bailey is also a very good game caller too. Like he knows when to throw the certain pitches and what the pitcher is feeling that day with his pitches. Like he knows if he has a good curveball that day, good slider, fastball, changeup, whatever it is. And whereas like Tom Murphy hasn't started a lot of games behind the plate, but regardless, as you said, he's just been terrible defensively.
Yeah, definitely.
On the flip side, let's talk about some surprises. Shota Imanaga of the Cubs has been absolutely dealing every time he goes out there this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging a strikeout about per inning pitch with 28 strikeouts, 27.2 innings pitch, which, I mean, is like it's very good, especially for a rookie. Like it's not the elite numbers, but the thing that is outstanding is a .98 ERA in 4 starts for a rookie. He just now gave up his first earned run, and it was only 1. Like, wait, no, he's given up 3. Never mind. He gave up 2 to Miami. Excuse me. But
Kyle,
if you're getting a rookie, like obviously he's got experience coming from Japan.
well, he's a 30-year-old rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone expects him to come out and just dice it up like he has.
Oh yeah.
He's
This is
ERA.
he's looked
I don't think
great.
it's gonna be sustainable, but
I mean, yeah. How big of a contract? It was like a 4 or 5 year deal.
Crazy. But I mean, I think he'll be a very good pitcher this year, and I don't think he'll stay in the Cy Young contendency that people might have him in right now. But just because we'll have elite pitchers finding their groove later down the stretch, but I think he could be a contender to finish below a sub-3 ERA if he keeps things up. I don't think the sub-2 or sub-1 that he's got right now is gonna stay for the whole season, but he still could be a very good pitcher for the rest of the season for the Cubs.
Yeah, he's only on a 4-year, $53 million deal, which isn't too bad. A little bit less than.
I think his signing definitely flew under the radar compared to.
Yeah, I think it was an offseason of so many big name guys. Especially like he's overshadowed by Yamamoto, obviously. The other Japanese pitcher came over. So I think he definitely went under the radar, but he's been elite so far this season.
I think with Shota Imanaga, people are going to start to figure him out because as of right now, his chase rate is in the 96th percentile. So everybody's just chasing it, everything he throws. They're not used to his pitch arsenal yet. Like they obviously don't have the right approach on how to attack him. And MLB hitters, they're smart. They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out what pitches to sit on when he's going to throw what, all that stuff. So I think he's going to get hit around eventually. He's hot right now, though. Hopefully he stays hot. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, but I think he's going to get hit around.
Yeah.
I think around the All-Star break is probably going to be a more better example of the pitcher that he is going to be, because by then he'll be figured out by teams and hitters, and it's not going to be the ridiculous chase rates and strikeout numbers that he's had in the first. Because the first 2 starts he was absolutely insane, because he went obviously shutout in both of those starts, and let's see, he had 7. First start he had 9 strikeouts. Second start he only had 3. But I mean, it's not like it's the worst of the worst in that case. And if you're getting a guy that's going out no runs for 6 innings a game, it's very good. But again, he's a rookie. But by the time we'll say July, I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers are a lot more exploited and just not the same that people would expect.
Not as high
at the numbers right now.
Speaking of overperformers, do we think the Guardians are overperforming? Being I think the second best team in the league right now. I mean, is it Josh or Bo Naylor that's going crazy? I think it's Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor's going crazy. Well, I think they're both on the Guardians, but Josh Naylor's the one that's doing really well.
Are they both? I thought Bo Naylor's on the Marlins.
Nah.
Bo Naylor's catcher for the
Dylan doesn't know ball.
Guardians.
I don't know.
But they've both been pretty good this season. But Josh Naylor started off absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I don't like. The Guardians are just a weird baseball team because they're one of those teams that really don't They have Jose Ramirez, but outside of that, I mean, now they lost Shane Bieber too, so it's they're one of those teams that just don't have the breakout caliber player that you would expect a team to be. That is their.
They feel like a lot of decent players. I feel like a lot of solid guys.
18-8. Yeah, it's just a lot of guys that are not bad but not outstanding. So it'll be interesting. Obviously we're still early, so anything right now is going to be a little bit of an overreaction to how good a baseball team really is in April. So
yeah, I mean,
they have solid guys.
Looking at
I was gonna say Stephen Kwan is batting .343 so far. The Oregon State alum, Kyle.
State legend.
Yeah, also I think he's from the Bay as well.
Yep.
He's batting .343, which is actually absolutely crazy. That's really high. I wonder where he ranks in batting average right now, but he's a good player. He's been
one of the more consistent players.
He's been solid for the past couple years.
He's a contact heavy hitter.
Yeah, he's not a big power guy. He's 3 home runs though.
It's
not terrible.
Looking at the Guardians overall, historically, recent history, they've been a team they're not going to hit a bunch of home runs. I think they finished last in home runs. They're second to last almost every year.
Mm-hmm. They
don't hit home runs.
At all.
Their pitching staff, they'll have a Shane Bieber, they'll have a Corey Kluber, they'll have somebody that'll dominate. But not anymore. But their pitching staff doesn't stand out to you. But you look at their team overall and you're like, oh yeah, he's pretty good. Oh yeah, he's pretty good. Oh yeah, he's good. Oh yeah, he's good. They don't have any flaws. They play good defense. They get on base a lot. They play a different style of baseball than the rest of the league, and
they play old school.
And this season it's working.
It's finally coming to life for him. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the sustainability thing, but I think they have a higher possibility to keep their record at a higher number than Shota Imanaga does to keep his ERA so insanely low.
I mean, I think that AL Central is a weaker division also. There's no
maybe not this year.
I mean, the Royals are moving into. The Royals are also really good. They're 17-10.
Yeah, Royals are looking like they could possibly be contenders. Cole Reagans, like outside of the one start against the Orioles, which was really bad to say the least. Seven runs in the second inning. That hurt my fantasy baseball team a little bit.
I had Singer for a couple days in my fantasy baseball team.
Yeah, but like
He had a couple decent
Reagan
starts.
stays
And
good.
died
He
on me.
looks good. Bobby Witt is everything that everyone expected him to be this season. An MVP candidate, probably. Like, they've finally figured everything out. They've finally been able to pull up the young guys who have performed well. They're finally all healthy. Salvador Perez is somehow still hitting absolutely elite numbers.
I think
Like,
earlier when I first started the podcast, we were talking about like they were like one of the teams we thought made some really good sneaky signings too.
Mhm.
Like we didn't think they're gonna be this good. We thought
yeah.
they'll probably like average out around All-Star break, and they'll probably trade these guys, get some prospects back or something. But they might, who knows? Maybe they'll trade for some guys at the deadline instead, try to make that push.
If I told you that Salvador Perez was the leading hitter for the Royals right now, as late into his career in every single category,
What is
he
he,
is their
34,
leading batting
35?
average, leading in home runs, and leading in RBIs.
It's nuts.
Like, the dude he's not a young guy.
Oh, he's only
anymore.
33. He's not that
But
old.
he's been in the league for so long.
I mean,
And-
let's see.
He
He
was
joined, he came up in
And keep in
2011.
mind, catchers
Yeah,
age
he's a-
disproportionately to everybody else. They lose their legs faster.
Well, he's been-
probably got maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to me that he's still playing a Gold Glove caliber
Yeah.
catcher too. Like, he's hitting elite right now. Well,
Throwing
I don't know
wise,
this season. I
yes.
haven't really seen
Blocking and
this season.
receiving, no. But throwing wise, yes.
It's ridiculous to me that he's still I wouldn't say he's their best hitter because they've got Bobby Witt, but I mean statistically he is their best hitter at this current moment.
I mean,
I mean, just
I think Salvador Perez is a dog. He's gonna have a good year this year. I just think Bobby Witt's gonna go 30-30. 30 bombs, 30 bags. I think he's gonna finish higher than.
that's not
not
ridiculous.
ridiculous
It's not
at
ridiculous
all.
to say that.
I think he's gonna.
No, ridiculous. Not ridiculous to say
Yeah,
that.
he might
Like-
finish 35-50. He might finish 40-40. Who knows? A little bit of a stretch, but
Pull the Acuna 40-70 club.
nah. But
It's not happening.
Bobby Witt's gonna be a dog. But right now, Salvador Perez is the best, no doubt.
I mean, and Vinny Pasquantino's back healthy too. So MJ Melendez has looked decent.
Better than
Nothing crazy,
expected.
but he's looked decent enough. Yeah. And their pitching staff, like, I knew their pitching staff was gonna be okay, but I knew Cole Reagans could be considered coming into the season to be possible ace material. But I mean, outside of the one Baltimore start, he's looked really good. And Brady Singer, Brady Singer is pretty young, if I'm not mistaken. Like, wasn't he? Like, he's young, so he'll be good for a while. He's looked pretty good this season too. So I think they might be one of the more likely teams to keep up the faster start they've had this season compared to like the Guardians. Like, I think they could probably overtake the Guardians for the Central, and there's still always the Twins, which have just been somehow, some way found ways to win games and win that division a couple times. So I think
Let's see. Right
Well,
now, the
people hate
Royals
on
are
the
2 games back in the division.
I think what people hate on the
Twins
Central
are in
has been
4th
a
right now, behind the Tigers too.
division. I think it could be one of the divisions to actually look out and watch this season, as long as the Guardians and Royals actually stay as good as they've
Yeah, definitely. And also,
Yeah. I think we're making our our divisional standings. This is a division we're like, it's gonna be like a very average division, not much going on. But like, it's been entertaining so far. I think it's gonna be a
Yeah.
very competitive
we
division.
predicted the Royals to be sellers at the deadline. Like, we were like, oh yeah, don't be surprised if this guy and this guy are not on the team by come, August, whenever
Yeah.
the trade deadline is.
Seth Lugo.
It
And I
could be
think they're going to be
buyers.
buyers, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean they're playing great. They have good, solid young guys. They have Perez, who's you want to take advantage of what he's got left in the tank while you
Love
can.
to see Bobby Witt in the playoffs.
You want to make that push? Make a push. They haven't been there since 15.
The
Been to the World Series since
Powder
2015 when they
Blues,
won
we
it?
gotta see the
Powder
Blues in
Blues
the
with Bobby
playoffs.
Witt. triple and three bags in a game in the playoffs. That's probably going to be what he does because he does that like seemingly every game.
I think the Royals might be like my second favorite team in all of Major League Baseball, just because they're such a fun team to watch. Like Bobby Witt is just one of those guys that you can't hate on Bobby Witt. Like he's just one of those guys that's electric all day, every day. He's gonna give you just amazing days. Like he'll have one bad day once a week, and outside of that, his MLB The Show card is also amazing. But
How's the show fiend?
Speaking of electric, Mason Miller of the Oakland A's and that entire pitching staff, as a matter of fact. Mason Miller came out the other day throwing 103.7. I think he got rounded up to 104. But he absolutely dominated the Rangers. He
Shut up.
struck out Corey
Shut up.
Seager and Marcus Semien. He's been the most exciting part of the A's and maybe any bullpen this season. He's been a dog.
A's redemption
Third in
season.
the
They're on
AL
here for it.
West. What is happening?
screw
Yeah.
John Fisher. This
Sell the
is
team,
A's
man. Sell the
big
team.
FU. We missed out on the whole Estuary Ruiz little fiasco that was going on there.
That was
that was
stupid.
ridiculous.
The over the bar
Like,
race was
one
wearing.
series, like bro's hitting like 300, had 2 home runs already. Like it didn't make sense for them to send him down. They brought him back up. He's still playing. Like he's not crazy good, but he's still playing above average. But like that whole team is just such a weird spot where it's obvious they are trying to be the worst team in baseball, and it's just not working. Like they're going out and they're fighting. Like obviously their starting pitching is not the strongest outside of Paul Blackburn. Excuse me. With like Alex Wood and Ross Stripling, who are just god awful. But if they can keep a game close and get into the ninth with a possible lead, they're winning the ball game. Because Mason Miller has just looked, right now,
Crazy.
he's looked like maybe the best closer in baseball at this current moment. Just
Yeah, who would have
he
thought
doesn't let
like
anybody on base. He doesn't walk people. He hasn't given up many hits, and he strikes out so many people. Like people say, like obviously, like Clase is very good. Is Clase hurt? I don't remember if Clase is playing
I don't
actually
know.
right now. Like John Duran. So the other thing
John,
is,
he's injured. John's injured.
Bautista's injured.
high velo guys are dominant, but the problem is who knows how long they're going to be able to sustain the high velo without getting hurt.
I mean,
So hopefully
it's
he can stay healthy all season.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that for the kid. But so
it's kind of
it's
crazy. Ben was mentioning earlier. He has a crazy story. He didn't know he was diabetic. And we went to did a drug test. Like he quit baseball because he didn't know he was diabetic. Found out he was a diabetic. Was able to gain his weight back. Started throwing cheddar. Was a starter last year. Pitched 33 innings and then converted to a closer during the spring training. Has been and then was
Yeah,
the best
I
closer in
think the
baseball.
key part of that is that he got
And it's
converted to a closer because he threw too hard to stay healthy as a starting pitcher. So hopefully,
yeah,
yeah,
Amisha's
hopefully
the same
being
thing.
converted to a closer, he can stay healthy for a full season because if you could throw 104 for a full season, you're going to be dominant.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think like I saw some stat
Can't
the
wait
other
till he
day,
gets
it was
traded to
a
like
long
a
time
contender.
ago. But like
Dodgers,
pitches
please.
over 100 miles an hour, or like 102 miles an hour in the last like 3 seasons have only given up, I think, like 8 hits in 119 at bats or something ridiculous like that. So like high velo is like, regardless of how used to it people like hitters can get, it's untouchable because it's in your face in a
It's just
fraction of a second.
you see it, it's there. It's like you
You
can't.
like the
You have to
reaction
swing
times are
before it
already
comes
hard
out, pretty
enough
much,
in
to hit it.
baseball. Yeah, like you're guessing the entire time because it's either gonna be a fastball or it's gonna be off speed. And if you're chasing fastball and it's an off speed pitch, you're about 3 minutes too early, and you're gonna look like an absolute fool.
You're gonna fall on your ass.
It was who was it on the
You're gonna get.
Brewers that got absolutely
I
fooled
saw
the other
that.
day?
It was terrible.
It was so bad. I don't remember who threw that pitch, but it was so funny. Like, dude did a somersault. He got folded so hard.
I mean, and the other thing about Mason Miller, it's not like he's faced like the White Sox and the Marlins and all these teams that can't hit. Like He faced the heart of the Rangers order, who just won the World Series with Semien and Seager, and he faced the heart of the New York Yankees order with Soto and Judge. Like he's faced legit competition and dominated every single time. I mean, I think he's leading the A's in strikeouts right now as a closer. That's kind of nuts.
Well,
I mean,
that just shows how good he's been.
I mean, the A's don't really have any strikeout pitchers in the first place, anyways.
I mean, yeah.
Blackburn's a ground ball guy. Alex Wood and Ross Stripling suck.
JP Sears has been good. JP Sears has
Well
been
said.
good. He's been going deep into
JP
games.
Sears has been decent.
They also have
I'm part of the Langoliers fan club. Best catcher in
Shea
baseball.
Bangaliers, baby. Hardest throwing catcher in baseball last year.
Other than that fraud,
no.
Patrick Bailey.
Bailey's a bum.
Bailey's a bum. Speaking of speaking of players that aren't, we're just gonna go on to the next player. Ozuna from the Braves. From DUIs to hitting bombs, going crazy.
Just leading the MLB and like top in every single stat. 344 average, second in the MLB with home runs, following Mike Trout, who I don't want to jump into the Angels. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you told me that the best player on the Braves this year would have been Ozuna, I would have called you a dumbass. But he's been the best player on the Braves.
31 RBIs already.
Crazy.
He's 31 in 20 games, almost 30 games, 25 games.
He's batting 350 with 9 jacks.
Like,
That's crazy.
if you told me that Ozuna had a 350 batting average at the end of April,
This is
like,
actually
I wouldn't
crazy.
even believe that a week into the season. Like, if you told me that the first week of the season, Ozuna was.
If you told me he got another DUI, I would have
3
believed you.
home runs.
This, I would have believed. Said, I got another DUI. I'm like, that makes sense. This, what do you want?
I don't know. I don't think. Who knows if
Crazy.
it'll be last the whole season. It'll be
Probably not.
interesting. I think.
I mean, if he does, that'd be a
Probably fall off a
crazy.
little bit. He's still gonna be
MVP
good, but
season.
It's not going to be. We'll see Acuna start to pick things back up. They'll get healthy again. Austin Riley will become decent.
I mean, with how
Who's
he's
their
playing, you
starting
know.
Shohei's so
Who
going to be
knows?
hard to overthrow for
Ozuna for the
MVP.
Braves. Yeah, him and Mookie been going crazy, you know. Also,
Who is the Braves
Oh.
shortstop?
No,
isn't
he's
it
second.
Albies?
It's
Oh, he's a second baseman. Second baseman.
oh,
Fucking,
hold on. I know this. I can't believe I can't remember it.
Oh my god.
It's
Who's shortstop for them?
Orlando Arcia.
Is Guillorme?
Arcia, that's right.
Arcia, is
Is it?
Arcia hurt right now?
No,
I
wow.
think he is. I'm pretty sure he's on the IL.
Rip Strider, bruh. We're my fantasy team.
No, that was last season. No, he's never mind.
Yeah,
was
no,
last season that he was hurt.
Arcia is
I
chilling.
can't remember if it was this season or last season. He's playing right now.
My fantasy team, my fantasy pitchers have been absolutely decimated this year, bruh. They had like the best 3 pitchers that had nothing.
Well, yeah,
Rip
they lost.
Beaver.
Is
Rip.
Strider
Well,
officially
Strider
out
was
for
shitty in the
season?
bed, but still rip his arm.
Is he officially
Yeah.
out for the season? He is.
Yeah,
Right?
he had Tommy John. He's out.
He did end up having Tommy John. Okay. That's
It
kinda
was
rough.
so
Like,
such a
that's been
glorious
insane this
first
season.
week when I was just going crazy, and then just everything just
The
went
amount of starting
bad.
pitchers that are
It's so
hurt
sad.
was
It's
just-
so bad for
I don't know.
baseball.
Yeah, it's just, that's what happens just when you throw 100 miles an
It's
hour
not
every
even that.
pitch.
They're not getting time in between pitches.
Yeah, they're not getting rest time. These new rules are affecting them.
It's
Like these guys have been throwing high
oh my God,
90s for
games are
years.
15 minutes faster. Who cares? We're paying. I'd rather sit for 3 hours for a 3 hour decent.
We
baseball
should have a
than
game this
2
year,
hour
man. We
absolutely
should
terrible
have
baseball.
hit another A's game. Cheap.
A's game, $10
Move down to the
tickets.
front.
Parking was 3 times the amount as a ticket. I wish I was kidding when I said that. I paid $30 for parking and $10
Yeah.
for my ticket.
You got thrown up on.
That was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that was rough.
Didn't they give you and Ashton free clothes? I mean, you guys just had to buy shit, huh?
No, I had to spend $180
That's rough.
on new clothes.
Yeah.
Because
On A's
I'm
gear.
like, I wasn't rolling in, like, I had to buy a new shirt and I had to buy shorts and they only had like one thing of pants and shorts, and I was not buying pants.
You guys email them trying to get like
Very
money back or
recently.
something like
I
that?
didn't even bother because the only thing I would have gotten was a free ticket redemption where I couldn't go to any of their event games or any games against Giants or like their like the priority teams. So I'm like, why would I'm not even gonna bother with this because the only game I would want to go to was a Giants game or like a giveaway game. Couldn't even get a ticket for that. So it's like that's the classic John
Yeah.
Fisher. But
Getting thrown up on is
Regardless.
actually crazy.
I'm getting nothing for it. Like their guest services was nice, but like yeah, just give us an email.
Don't worry, Kyle. I'll throw up
And
on you this time. I'll throw up on you.
Like,
Instead of
yeah,
some ring,
yeah.
I'll do it.
Our other friend emailed him. He just gave like a free voucher to one game. Not even like a cash back for your ticket, or I mean, I wouldn't have gotten jack shit from that $10.
That's so crazy.
I
I was like on the like totally opposite end of our seats, and I was like, see you guys again. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Dude, it was nasty too. And, I don't even want to think about it.
Well, then I think it's a good way to
The
end
guy
our
didn't-
episode off. Kyle
the guy
getting
didn't say
thrown up
nothing
on.
to us.
It's always a good time. Really great time. Kyle getting thrown up on. So I think that's it. See you guys next time on the 5 Tool Talk. Don't forget to check out our socials and our website at the5tooltalk.com.